Welcome to Tita Talks. My name is Sonia Tita Popolo, and I'm your host. It is a great privilege and pleasure to welcome back Susie Ellis. Susie is the chair and CEO of the Global Wellness Institute and the co-founder, chair, and CEO of the Global Wellness Summit. The Global Wellness Institute is known for their pioneering research, wide-ranging initiatives, and authoritative and reliable wellness information. And the Global Wellness Summit is recognized as the global wellness authority and resource for businesses and organizations dedicated to ensuring optimal well-being for humanity. And this year's 2022 Global Wellness Summit will take place October 31st through November 3rd in person and virtually in the vibrant city of Tel Aviv, Israel. And today we're talking about the healing power of functional medicine, a self-care tool for you. Welcome back to Tita Talk, Susie.
Thank you for having me back. I'm delighted to be here and I'm excited about our topic.
Me too. Thank you. We're currently experiencing the greatest global transformation of our lifetime. This grand transformation permeates the well-being of every aspect of humankind. Wellness and self-care is at the forefront of this paradigm shift. And with the right wellness and self-care tools, we can reset our lives, forge a new pathway forward, and live a happier and healthier longer life. Good health is our most prized possession, generating a positive mindset of confidence, enthusiasm, strength, and joyfulness that can trigger a life of optimum achievement. And vibrant health does not happen by luck or by chance. One must take the necessary steps to improve their health and well-being. In fact, recently, the Miss Quinn Health Group, in partnership with you in the Global Wellness Summit, presented the future of functional medicine in Bangkok, Thailand. And during the conference, you were joined by leading global medical experts and scientists to share the latest insights, research, and trends in the field of functional medicine, which primarily is focused on determining how and why illness occurs and restoring health by examining the root cause of disease for each individual. It is more a preventative approach toward well-being. We agree functional medicine is in many ways an ideal bridge between medicine and wellness. And Susie, your definition is that functional medicine focuses on root cause of disease, extensive one-on-one time with patients, and lifestyle changes. How did you inform your definition, and what inspired you to collaborate and participate in the Future of Functional Medicine Symposium in Bangkok?
Well, Sonia, I think I might be like a lot of people that might be listening or watching, is that I was not clear at all about what functional medicine was. I'd heard the term, I heard different people talking about it, but when I asked people what it is, I didn't get anything consistent. And so I was always curious. I mean, that's gone back for a few years. And then when we did our Global Wellness Summit in Boston, which was last year, David Bohm, who is the founder of Miskowan Clinics, he has several of them in Asia, came up to me and said that he wanted to do a symposium, somewhat like what we did the year before, which was on wellness real estate.
And Susie, please, can we review just a few of your top takeaways from your trip to Thailand and can we elaborate on each? Functional medicine fits between medicine and wellness. Focus on a functional medicine approach and your crystal ball. So let's start with the functional medicine fits between medicine and wellness.
Well, what I learned is, we've been studying medical and wellness for a long time. I mean, we're the ones with the Global Wellness Institute that came out with the definition of wellness tourism, and we contrasted that to medical tourism. And we've always been very much a promoter of the fact that those two have their own lanes, and they're both really important. But whenever we have found the mixture of the two attempted, that has not been easily done successfully. So medical has its, DNA of, it's medical, it's science, it has its rules and regulations. And then the wellness arena was a little bit more, not from the medical point of view. Yes, evidence-based, because we, very much talk a lot about evidence-based wellness, but it was more what people themselves chose, not just what the medical profession would say needs to be done. So those two lanes were very, very important. And what I have learned about functional medicine is that it actually started from the medical arena. It's doctors mostly, at least in Bangkok, it was all doctors on stage, doctors who embraced this avenue of root cause, one-on-one, and lifestyle changes, which is so much of what we do in wellness. So this is medical professionals having a lot of respect for wellness, because that's really what they embrace and what they need help with in terms of dealing with some of their patients. So this fits really well in the middle. And I think because of the respect both from the wellness side for the medical professional and the medical professional for the wellness side, it's a good fit.
And then the B was the focus on a functional medicine approach. Yes,
the issue with functional medicine is that there are some challenges with it. There isn't like, if you're a certified physician in pediatrics or, oncology, that's defined. There is no definition of a functional medicine doctor. So there are certifications. There's the Institute for Functional Medicine here in the US, and there are other courses and so on. However, there are a lot of people using the term, even people that are not necessarily medical. So I found most comfortably the idea of talking about using a functional medicine approach, because any doctor could be using a functional medicine approach. A wellness professional could be using a functional medicine approach. And talking about an approach does not then put up the hurdle of, is someone certified? Are they a functional medicine doctor? Because that can be a little bit, there's a disagreement about that in, not only in the US, but globally.
And I love when you talk about your crystal ball and the future of functional medicine being positive. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, I studied a lot about what was happening in the US. In the US, functional medicine is a little bit more visible, and a lot of it has to do with Dr. Mark Hyman. He's like the poster child for functional medicine, because he's a fantastic doctor, has written, I think, 10 or 12 books. He's got a lot of credibility, and he has talked about functional medicine quite a bit. And then the big thing that happened is that he started with Michael Roizen at Cleveland Clinic, and Dr. Michael Roizen is on our board. And you saw him in Boston. He went on stage as our co-chair. So Dr. Michael Roizen, he's been at Cleveland Clinic many, many decades, and he is definitely a future thinker. And he started the wellness program there, and I have visited him, and he's definitely ahead of the game. He decided that it would be good to have a functional medicine aspect department at Cleveland Clinic. And he made that happen, and Mark Hyman was in charge of it. That was a huge deal, because Cleveland Clinic has so much credibility, and of course now you have Mark Hyman. So it actually came to life there. Now that was years ago, and since that time it's still there. Mark is not as involved with it anymore, but nevertheless, that was a big, it was a big moment in functional medicine. So that is one thing that shows momentum. But then I went to Bangkok, and I realized that, we did a symposium there. There were about 200 people. There were over 30 doctors on stage, and they all were very comfortable with the term functional medicine. I didn't see any of the disagreement that I have seen in the US, and we can talk about that if you want. in Bangkok and in Asia in general. And I realized and I learned
Mm,
that some of their traditions, traditional Thai medicine, traditional Chinese medicine,
yes.
these are sort of whole body disciplines already. It's not this, one organ, another organ. I mean, getting to the root causes and, lifestyle changes, that has been part of their background. So it's a little bit of an easier understanding. And then I've also spoken, I have a couple of cousins who are doctors in Germany. I've
Mm,
asked them about functional medicine. Sue Harmsworth and I just traded an email about it. So I've been asking a lot of people about functional medicine. And I'm finding that in Europe, there is a little more discussion about functional medicine than there used to be. And especially in the UK, where they're a little bit more ahead in some of this lifestyle medicine type of thing. So I would say that my crystal ball
yeah.
shows that because in Asia and the US and in Europe, there is momentum for functional medicine becoming more part of the conversation. And in fact, the getting to the root causes, lifestyle changes, and spending time with patients is what the consumer wants.
Yeah.
I think that the future is bright. I think a little collaboration would help, people talking with each other more, because right now it's a little bit fragmented. But I saw that in the wellness arena, many years ago, and I can see how it can come together and be a very strong force.
And I understand that functional medicine will be on the agenda of the 2022 Global Wellness Summit taking place in Tel Aviv, October 31st through November 2nd. So why do you think it's so important to include functional medicine in this year's agenda?
Well, we have been seeing through our trends with the Global Wellness Summit and through our research with the Institute, we have seen a lot more, interest from the medical side in terms of wellness. And so that those two lanes are coming together. And then what we have found, and this was discussed in Bangkok, it was also discussed in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
COVID has had an amazing effect
Yeah.
on the discussion, because what's happened is, COVID, brought to light the importance of having a healthy lifestyle. I mean, we used to talk about it and encourage people to do so, but now it really came home, because it was obvious that before the vaccine, the people who were affected and dying were the ones that were not healthy.
Right.
So the importance of taking care of yourself became more and more obvious. And the other thing that became obvious is that healthcare is not enough. You can't rely totally on healthcare. There weren't even enough hospitals or, beds. So if you can't rely totally on healthcare, then what is the other option? It's self-care, taking care of yourself. So that part of it has also brought, I think, functional medicine to a greater place of importance, as all of these discussions and wellness in itself has become more important all over the world because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And also with the long COVID as well, how functional medicine, integrative, preventive practices, all of this plays such an important role. And that brings me to my next part. I was going to say, integrative, functional, and preventative medicine's objectives are all the same, and that is to stop illness before it progresses to the stage of treatment. And would you agree that most people do not know or truly understand the differences between integrative, functional, and/or preventive medicine? And will you feature integrative and preventive medicine as well as functional medicine on the 2022 Global Wellness Summit agenda?
Well, I certainly agree with you, Sonia, that people, and by that I mean every person, doctors, wellness professionals, chiropractors, people who are running hospitals, I don't think that there would be anyone that could actually give a definition of all three of those, even that it's clear to them.
Yeah.
Those are words that are being used. And I think that's a good thing. Prevention is a word that's out there. And, I remember when Dr. Rich Carmona at our second Global Wellness Summit many years ago said, 70% of healthcare costs could be avoided
Mm,
we don't need to spend that money because they're avoidable conditions.
right.
And that's what, caused him to just really rethink being in medicine and wanting to be also on the wellness side. And that is really the case. I was in Tel Aviv and I asked a doctor who's very prominent. He's going to be speaking at the summit.
Oh,
I asked him, I thought, I'm going to ask him the same question because, this is Israel, I said, what percentage of illness or, hospital visits do you think are preventable? And he thought for a moment and he said, most of them. And I thought, wow. So I think there's definitely an understanding that, all this healthcare costs, all this illness that
oh,
people are dealing with, a lot of it is preventable by healthy lifestyle. And so that's, bringing a lot of momentum to the whole wellness movement. And so the definitions along the way, I welcome the terminology. Some people are, but the other problem with terminology is the fact global. Like I've read
yes.
Definitions of integrative medicine that it includes traditional medicine and, and alternative. Well,
Yes.
traditional medicine in India is Ayurveda. Because
Yes.
the term traditional does not mean, which I used to think for many years, it means, oh, the normal for my, where I live, but that's not it. It's traditional is of the place. So
Yes.
a lot of these definitions are, challenging. I could not, give you a clear definition. I could share with you what I think of when I think of integrative or preventative or functional.
Yes.
But I'm also not all that worried about it because I think in general, the idea, like you said, they're all about prevention and helping people with lifestyle changes. So I'm a
Yes.
fan of using a lot of different words if that's what they're doing.
Yes, I think that eventually the objective is the same. And I'm so happy that you mentioned that as relates to in terms of the traditional and the global understanding of these terms, because it is interesting how these specific terms are also evolving
Yeah.
as we learn more and more and as further collaborations take place. I think that there's so much to learn, there's so much to see in such an exciting time. And can you share more about the agenda and theme for the summit in Tel Aviv? Because I understand that you'll be, featuring working sessions, of course, many noted speakers in a range of topics, the Tech Innovation Pavilion, as well as the launch of the BBC content collaboration.
Well, we're known for wanting to bring out the best of a place. So that's really one of the reasons we do our summit, and this will be our 16th in different places. When we were in India, we had the Dalai Lama with us, and we explored Ayurvedic medicine. We asked the Dalai Lama, what is wellness? This was 10 years ago. And and then when we were in Bali, we explored the Balinese spa experiences at that time. And so, same thing for every country we've been to. So this time we're going to Tel Aviv, and Israel has some amazing, obviously it's a great place that people want to see. It has all the historical places to go and be part of. And they also they're known for their startup culture, the innovation, and the book Startup Nation, has really been used a lot to describe. So going there and to explore, well, what does that mean, and what can we learn from them? Because that's the idea of everywhere we go, what can I learn, and what can I bring back to my business or to my personal life? So in Israel, and we were there for a week last week, just got back. The innovation part is amazing. It is a fertile, first of all, there's only 9 million people in Israel. So it's not a large place. So you have 9 million people, a lot of them know each other. And, but there is innovation as just, it's the DNA. Everybody is working hard and everybody seems to be involved in a startup. And there's a lot of collaboration. It was very striking how different that was from when I was in Bangkok. Because in Bangkok, we had, 200 people to our summit. I don't think anyone knew each other. I mean, very few people knew each other, even though they were talking about functional medicine. Some were doctors, some were in the wellness, some were in spa, but they had not met each other. There was not a atmosphere of collaboration, which I certainly
Interesting.
encouraged them to foster. But in Israel, it was all about collaboration. Oh, I know this person. Oh, this person will come. And, and all of this working together was really, really something. So I think learning about the culture of innovation, because we can all, we can all benefit from more collaboration and innovation in our industry, as well as, just in general. So I think that's one thing that will be, very top of mind. But there's also a lot of medical advancements in Israel. And in particular, I'll tell you, we have not announced this yet, but I did meet with him and I invited him to speak and he said yes. So I'm going to assume that it will happen.
Yes.
Is Shay Efrati. He is the person that is the most seasoned. He has studied it the longest of hyperbaric medicine.
Wow.
And hyperbaric medicine is a little bit, future, not a little bit, it is future. It has had a past because they do use hyperbaric for burn patients and so on. But now what's happening is hyperbaric medicine, they are finding that hyperbaric experiences are very healing for more than just burns. And they're showing value in cognitive, with cancer, with all kinds of things. And he told me, I mean, he has this his laboratory at this hospital in Israel, and he's been doing this for 20 years. And he said that it started out where he was in charge. He was a young doctor at the time. He was in charge of the burn patients and the hyperbaric experiences. But he said he noticed that he would, do the protocol with the hyperbaric oxygen and so on. But then he said he had one lady who was in a wheelchair. She had, lots of problems, but she also had this burn issue. So he was working with her, and over time, the burn issue, was resolved. But he also realized she's walking. She got better in other ways.
The hyperbaric. Wow.
With the hyperbaric. And he noticed that with many different patients. And so he thought, I really would like to study this more because there's something more happening than just, burns getting healed. So that's what he's done, 20 years of research.
Awesome.
And I don't know if you know that there are people starting to add hyperbaric to some of their spa and wellness programs. And so that's very cutting edge. And I think quite exciting to have something that could be that helpful to people in a lot of different ways. So anyway, he's going to be speaking.
That's very exciting. Yes, I have known about the hyperbaric healing for many years now. A friend of ours, we talked about, she had cancer, and we had talked about how she was using the hyperbaric chamber to help heal the cancer. And it can help heal on a cellular level, the nervous system and everything. It's fascinating. Yes. Yeah. It's interesting
And what he's doing and what he's finding, and he's a scientist, he is all about research. He is not about, this has to be science. He has shown that the protocols they use is lengthening telomeres. And that's something that we're starting, there's been some talk about, the shortening of telomeres, and that, that's a sign of aging, but he's showing the lengthening of telomeres. So that is extremely exciting, and for all of us. And by the way, what he's doing is, the hyperbaric chamber has been in the past, it's a tube for one person. Well, he has what he calls suites, hyperbaric suites. There are 14 people in a suite, and I think he has 8 suites. He says he has over 300 people a day who have these sessions, and it's a particular protocol. It's not just you're in hyperbaric, but you're in there and you have 15 minutes of oxygen at a certain level. Then you take the mask off and you have less oxygen for 5 minutes, and then you put it on again. So your body is being triggered in a different way to stimulate. And I'm not a scientist, so I'm not explaining it well, I'm sure. But that's part of what they're finding is the protocol of how to use hyperbaric is important. So anyway, we'll have him with us as one.
That's so exciting. And any other like for the tech pavilion, I know that you have that every year, right? This is going to be the third year for the tech pavilion, right?
Yes, but this is going to be a very different tech pavilion this year, because there are so many startups. And so what we're doing, and we have a company now that's helping us in Tel Aviv, pull together, because there's so many startups, you have to really, select the ones that would be of interest to our delegates. So things that are interesting in wellness, in fitness, in medicine, in beauty, in hospitality. So, and honestly, the summit is not till November. And so it is almost difficult to decide now who's going to be there in November, because there will be new startups. And and we're working there with Amir, who, has a company called WellTech. And so he's very connected with what's going on in the wellness and technology. So I can't tell you exactly what's going to be there, but it's going to be very exciting. Although I will tell you, there's one company that just won a huge award, and they're going to be there. And what they've done, and I was able to tour it, is they have created a substance that really replaces sugar, but it's all protein. It's all protein. There's no carbs in there. There's no sugar in there. It is all protein. And we were able to, taste cranberry juice that was made from it, ketchup that was made from it. So some things that are happening there are very, very exciting for the world, really, not just, for our world, but the whole world.
And what inspired the theme, open minds, open hearts, and open for business?
Well, I have to say that was Nancy Davis. She is, the chief creative. She is the creative director of our summit and the institute. She is just such a creative person, and she's also executive director. We choose our themes every year based on what's happening. And we were supposed to go to Israel 3 years ago, but then COVID happened. And so the world shut down, nobody was traveling. So we had to, delay. We were going to try it the next year. Again, people were not traveling enough to make that work out. So that's why we were in Boston. But this year we are going to be there. Borders are open. So the idea of open is the theme that, we are feeling is in the air. It's not just open for business, but it is open hearts. There's a different way of relating to people, it seems to me. And open minds, there's a different, way of collaborating. And then open for business. The Global Wellness Summit has always been about business. And a lot of people do business, not because we have anybody on stage, showcasing their company, but because all the people meet each other during all of the social events and in other fun ways that we kind of mix people up. So open hearts, open minds, and open for business. It just felt like the right theme because of the way things are in the, the zeitgeist right now globally. So I feel good about it.
Yeah, it's a marvelous theme. I love it. It's so exciting to see the health and wellness thought leaders and visionaries from around the world and people who genuinely care and are on a mission to make an impact in the wellness industry come together each year and celebrate well-being at the Global Wellness Summit. Science-based evidence shows that the more self-care tools and techniques you have and the more positive daily habits you embrace, then the more you not only learn about yourself and what works best for you in your life, but the better life you will live. It's about empowering yourself with the skills to live a happier and healthier, more harmonious life. I want to share an excerpt from my book, Sonia's Ring, 11 Ways to Heal Your Heart. Physical and spiritual well-being is necessary for life and growth. It is what helps to keep us alive, maintains and nourishes love, faith, hope, perseverance, compassion, and kindness. All of this is available for you. So reach out and grab what is yours. Susie, is there any particular message that you would like to make sure that we share and communicate with our worldwide audience?
Well, let me just take the springboard from your, lovely reading. You know, we are very lucky that we're in this industry because it does make a difference to our own personal health. What we're learning, we're inspired, people we meet. And I recently attended Deborah Zakay's 100th birthday. And I don't know if everyone knows who she is, but Deborah Zakay was the founder of Rancho La Puerta and Golden Door. And she turned 100. And I went to the festivities, and that is a perfect example of someone. And I'm not saying she lived a perfect life, but she had gardens at Rancho La Puerta. She ate healthy. She always talked about exercise. She had many challenges in her life, but mentally she was always very, very engaged. And that is a life. And there's a beautiful picture of her at 100. And she just called me the other day. So she's she's got another project she wants to work on. But I guess what I would just leave people with is that, we are privileged to now see that self-care is something people recognize is important. And so I would say that that's the most important thing we can do. Yes, it's great what we're working and how we're helping others. But if we take care of ourselves, I mean, look at how long Deborah Zakay was around to contribute to the world. I mean, much longer than a lot of people. So I think that it's an exciting time, and everyone that's doing anything in self-care or wellness, I think it's a real blessing, and I've never been more excited about the future.
Thank you so much for joining us on Tita Talk, Susie. This has been so wonderful. Thank you for discussing the healing power of functional medicine, a self-care tool for you. And for more information, then please go to www.wellnessworldusa.com and www.titatalks.com. Follow us on Instagram at Wellness World USA, at Tita Talks Official, at We Love Tita Talks, at Sonia Tita Papalo. And for more information about the Global Wellness Institute and the Global Wellness Summit, then please visit their websites, www.globalwellnessinstitute.org and www.globalwellnesssummit.com, and follow them on Instagram at Global Wellness Summit. Anything else to add, Susie?
Just thank you, Sonia, for having me. I just love how enthused you are, and that we can share each other's enthusiasm during these